The difference between ultra-high converting brands and average converting brands actually lies in the simple things. In this video, I'm breaking down 3 fundamental conversion rate principles that the ultra-high converting get really right and that the average converting are not doing well enough. And together, these 3 principles form an extremely powerful synergy that will increase your conversion rate. And if done right, will allow your brand to tap into that ultra-high converting performance. As always, I will also be showing concrete practical examples that you can directly take inspiration from to implement on your own store. Now let's get right into it. The 3 fundamental conversion rate principles is number 1, show, don't tell. Number 2, be specific. And number 3 is do more. And I know they sound simple, but this is really the differentiation between average converting brands and the ultra-high converting. It almost sounds too simple to be true, but that is the reality. And this applies for any industry. You'll find that the best in the industry are the ones that get the fundamentals right. It's not the ones with the shiny objects. It's not the ones with the special tricks. It's the ones that have the best fundamentals. And by that, I don't mean in theory, but actually the practical application and execution of those fundamentals. So that's what I'm going to be showing in this video. Let's start with for chicks. They are an excellent example of someone getting all these 3 fundamental principles extremely right in their execution. And as you will see, together they create a huge synergy that in total drives their whole conversion rate almost. Starting with their media gallery. So number 1 is show, don't tell. And as you will see, their whole media gallery is before and afters. The second principle is be specific. You see, they are only focusing on the eyelashes because they are selling a mascara, so there is no point in showing anything else. That's the specific part. And number 3 is do more. So they have something to show. They're being specific with what they're showing, aka they're also avoiding to show anything else, which is also in line with being specific, is avoiding what doesn't matter. But then the third, which they are doing really well, is also that they are doing more. They are doing a lot of those 2 things. Many brands would probably stop at 3 images here, but they keep going with just a huge amount of before and afters. And this is only the media gallery. As we go down, here they have, again, just pictures of eyes, showing, not telling. 1 week, 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks. And you can see clear growth in the eyelashes. And I actually made a video of this, the benefits timeline section. And for chicks is an excellent example because they are using really good visuals to get the timeline across. And then you'll see here they have not just videos on their product page, which any brand should have. They have a lot of videos and they have them together with reviews. But look, they have 12 videos in this grid right here. And you can just start clicking through to see the different videos. This is exactly parallel to the ads you're running. You don't run one ad and expect that to convert for your whole store. Neither should you run one video on your product page. Neither should you have one before and after image on your product page. It's the exact same principle that applies for ads and websites. But on average, brands are better at doing this execution in their ads than they are on their website. But this is because very many brands focus on creatives and marketing, because of course you need a proper marketing funnel. But once you get your marketing to a certain point, what too many brands forget is that their website is the one creative that all their traffic will go through. So by having your website and specifically product pages / landing pages right is one of the highest levers if you actually have your marketing at a decent level. And last thing that might seem like a detail, but is actually a huge factor for conversion rate is the FAQ. And too many brands have very few questions in their FAQ. They might have 5 questions, 6 questions. But here for chicks, make sure to have a lot of different questions. I do see a lot of payment and shipping questions in here. I think it would be more beneficial to have a better distribution of what questions they have. But regardless, it is better to have very many specific questions in the FAQ than to have a few general ones, which goes back to principle number 2 of be specific. Think of it, the FAQ is a section on your site that your highest intent visitors go to in order to try to get an objection handled or in order to get an answer to a question they have. So basically they need more information or they are just in general unsure about something. So the more specific your questions are and the more of those you have, the higher the chance is that your highest intent visitors will see a question that is exactly what they need at that time, which will ultimately lead to a conversion for you. In my conversion rate app, Eevy AI, we actually see a surprising amount of questions in the FAQ, having a really high bounce rate compared to other questions where the question or the answer is not good enough, leading people to actually just give up and leave the page and bounce because they did not get the answer they needed or they did not get the additional information that they were seeking. We have real data from multiple 8-figure brands where this is happening. So getting your FAQ questions right is actually a huge deal. The next brand that has these 3 conversion rate principles executed extremely well is Freya Organics. And if you haven't checked those out, check out Freya with their ad copies, their ads, and their landing pages, because they are extremely good at what they're doing and they understand the cause and effect when it comes to D2C marketing extremely well, aka the fundamentals. This is their main landing page that they are driving most of their traffic to at the moment. As you see in the start, their headline is very specific, and then they have the image in the background showing glowing Scandinavian skin, as well as the herbs and things that they use in their products. Take a moment to just appreciate the difference between what they could have wrote in this headline and what they did write. They could have wrote delay wrinkles guaranteed, less wrinkles or your money back. But they chose to write delay wrinkles by 10 years guaranteed, aka they added multiple layers of specificity that you will probably see lacking in a less converting brand. If we go further down, you see they have a lot of mentions, and this goes back to the do more. So they have mentions and they add a lot of them. They don't stop at 4. They add a lot of them. And then next up is their before and afters. And this section is amazing. You should really try to test this on your own store if you haven't. If you get this right, this one section has an insane effect on conversion rate. The majority of the high converting brands has this before and after type of section. But what Freya does even more differently, placing them more in the ultra converting category, is the pure amount that they feature. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I'm not sure now if we paused. I don't think we went in a loop. Maybe. I'm not sure. But at least they have an extreme amount. No, okay, so I don't think we went in a loop. That's actually just how many they have. But again, this is an example of where many other brands would have just stopped at 6 or 8 or somewhere around that. This, of course, also works in their ads. So what do? They just do more of it and make it more specific. So each before and after is specific and they have a lot of them. And of course, the first principle of show, don't tell, that's the whole nature of a before and after section and video sections. So of course, that's the fundamental purpose of this section, is to show the effect. But they check off all 3 principles only in this section. As we scroll more down, they have the benefits timeline section. And again, many other brands have this and they have 3 milestones. They have, for example, 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, or they have 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Freya has 24 hours, 3 days, week 1, month 3, month 6 to 12. So they are being very specific with each milestone, and they're also adding more. The thing they are not doing well in this one though is that they are only typing it in text, even though it's pretty engaging text, but they are not showing in this section. And that doesn't make a lot of sense considering that this is supposed to be what you can expect from using Freya. So what would make the most sense here is like Goda has, which you can find example of in my benefits timeline video, where they actually show images and before and afters of certain benefits milestones along this timeline. So here they actually can catch them lacking in that first principle, but the other 2 are executed extremely well. And then they have the customer statistics section. And again, they repeat these 3 principles in their media gallery to an extreme degree again. As you see, they have a lot in their media gallery. Principle 3, which is do more. They have a lot of before and afters, a lot of visuals, and they also are very specific. They have a lot of different cases, and the text is very rich, meaning they don't keep it at any generic text like many brands do. They have a headline or something. They add a lot of specificity and a lot of content to their media gallery. And then next up, you will find it in their comment screenshot section, this one. Quick tip also, if you haven't tried this, by actually taking comment screenshots from Facebook, Instagram, or taking the comments that you get or reviews and trying to design them into comments so they look like comment screenshots. This is something a lot of brands are testing at the moment, and a lot of the ultra high converting brands are featuring on their pages. So if you haven't tested this for yourself, you should give it a try. But back to the 3 principles is 1, show, don't tell. That doesn't really apply too much to this section, even though they are technically showing the comment instead of typing what the customer said, which I guess applies, but the main are the two others. They're being specific and doing more. So if they've seen this work, they have ended up just doing a lot more of it. And that's something brands just don't get for some reason. If you have seen something work really well in your ads or in your landing page or product page tests, just do more of it. It's not like the results from it will stop if you add more of the thing that's working. So I don't know why people have like a limit on how much they are doing of what works. Because for example, review sections, a lot of review sections are like 6 reviews. I mean, why not more? And before and afters, why not more? Your media gallery content, why not more? And your videos, why not more? You are testing hundreds of ads every week. Why are you not testing more videos on your product pages? So when I scroll here, you will see they have a lot of these comments, but you should really test this out if you haven't. Next up, they have a pure video section showing customer video testimonials and different videos of the product in use. And what you will see again here is that they just have an enormous amount of these videos. But yeah, that's the really high impact parts of Freya I wanted to show. Next up is Cupids, and the parts I really want to feature is this. So back to the fundamentals, everyone has review sections. How can you make reviews more specific, and how can you do more of reviews? Immediately, what they are missing though is the show don't tell element, where these are just text reviews. They should pair them with a sort of before and after, or at least just a picture. But they are really strong on the other 2 points, because instead of just featuring a generic review section, they have divided the display of reviews into 5 different topics. So you as a user, depending on what actually interests you, you can click on each of the category tabs to see specific reviews covering your interested topic. I see this is a no-brainer. It has no drawbacks, and also it allows the user to interact with what they specifically are interested in learning more about. And you can think of conversion rate optimization as simple as this. If people get all the information and the impressions they need to buy, they will. The challenge is really providing those impressions they need, because they have some baseline psychological factors that will stop them from buying. But if you handle all of them with the right impression of content to handle that specific part, let's say, for example, they like the product and the benefit, they don't trust the brand. Then you have to give them an impression of something that will have them trust your brand more. If they think it's expensive, you have to give them an impression of something that handles the price, value anchors it, compares it to not having it, basically flipping it from a cost to an opportunity cost. And if they're not interested in a product, of course, then that's what you have to start with. You have to give them impressions of things that makes them want the product. This is back to the fundamentals I mentioned, because it's really not rocket science, but it is hard to execute to the degree where you have that ultra converting store. It really applies also to videos, FAQs, images before and afters. As with Freya, for example, you saw that they didn't let you choose to navigate to something, but their before and afters are very specific and cover different cases, and they have a lot of them. So if the user scrolls through, the chance of them seeing a case or multiple cases with an angle that fits them specifically or handles their situation is very high. It's just like with ads. You have to have multiple personas, multiple angles per persona, and then execute those angles through multiple media, multiple channels. And the more specific you can be, the better you will convert the people seeing them. And the next one is they have these videos here, and many brands would just leave it to this one. Most brands don't have more than one video section, but what they have is they have another video here, and then further down, they just do more of it. Again, now they have videos to answer the FAQ. So these are differently formatted videos where they all have a comment overlay that they are covering, which is really smart to have for an FAQ, because why are people in an FAQ? It's because they seek more information about something specific, or they want more certainty or security about something. And video is a more engaging format than text. So if you're able to provide those answers in videos, that is much better and higher converting than providing those with text. But of course, unless you have proper systems set up, many brands just choose to avoid this, because then they have to produce videos for the FAQ section and things like this. But I think honestly, it's just being lazy and overlooking the importance of fundamentals, because you should be making a lot of ads every week, and there is nothing that makes that not apply to your website. So in reality, you should really try to have a system and production capacity to make website specific content. But something you can also do before you're at that point is just find your winners, your winning video ads, and then test those in video sections on your website. if they work well in ads, the chance of them working on your website are very high. With the last example, I want to show you how these principles apply universally to your whole funnel, your whole store, your whole setup. JV Coffee has found a landing page format that works really well for them. And guess what they're doing? They're doing more. JV Coffee is running the majority of their ad spend to this landing page. You will see first that they are really good at showing, not telling. They have a video for every part of this whole landing page. So instead of having an image here, you actually get to be dragged a little bit into the morning ritual framing that they're going for, with someone packing their morning bag, obviously heading out the door with coffee, and then showing here. They could have just made this an image. Instead, they are making it engaging, making it move, showing as much as they can. And this is, of course, not new. This works. A lot of brands are doing it this way. But what JV is doing as well, where a lot of the more average brands would have stopped with finding this landing page that works really well for them, JV has just done more of it. So they have this landing page template and format that works really well for them, but they have 4 of them, and all 4 are getting very decent traffic. So they are running it to this template, but they have 4 versions of it and probably more as well. But these are the top 4 they're running ad spend to. And they are all different, but they are the exact same layout, just with some of them have just a slight variation, but the other ones have the whole content is a variation. So it's a whole new angle they're going for. So you see this one is 12 reasons why JV will upgrade your mornings. This one is 11 reasons why everyone's obsessed with JV. And here you see they have completely different sections. They're doing everything visually, but many brands would have had images, or they would have had just one. So here again, you have the difference. It comes down to the fundamentals and the execution of the fundamentals. And here they actually are also running just a lot of points. I see a lot of these landing pages where people have just 6 of these points. JV seems to have 12 in this one, 11 in this one. So if you're running something similar and you only have 5 or 6 points, just try adding more and see what happens. Test it out. Because usually people just stop at a certain limit for some reason. There is no limit. If the content of it is good enough, you can add more. Next one, they have 12 reasons why will upgrade your mornings. Here you see the next one is the same angle, and then they have this one as well, which is same setup, and now it's different again. So it's the same angle as this one with why everyone's obsessed. Here instead, it's why everyone's switching. So it's very similar, but it is a different specific execution, which does make a huge difference, because some people will be hit better by one specific and other people will be hit better by the other one. So if you're either doing things that are non-specific, you're not hitting anyone properly. And if you're doing 1 or 2 that's very specific, then you're hitting 2 groups of people very good, but you're leaving out so many more that just need a different specific execution. So we can just quickly look through this one. Again, very visually heavy. What JV is not doing that well though is being specific. These angles are pretty indirect. It's not really direct to the point that it could be, but at least they are doing the 2 principles of showing, not telling, and doing more really well. If you feel like you have a lot of good content but are not putting it to use on your website, you should check out my conversion rate system in the Shopify app, Eevy AI, where we have completely revolutionized the workflow for conversion rate for high 7, 8, and 9-figure brands to be able to use all the behavioral and conversion data on their website to make sure that the content being displayed actually is the right content. Because if you have 50 videos you could put on your product page, how do you know which ones are the best and which ones possibly even drag down the conversion rate? And it's also, as I mentioned in the start of the video with FAQs, we have seen from data that a lot of FAQ questions and answers actually cause bounce if they are bad answers. But on the opposite, having the right specific FAQ questions really drive through a lot of conversions that wouldn't have happened if that specific question and answer wasn't there. Eevy AI is basically the meta algorithm just for your website content. So instead of trying to manage an A/B test and use visitor recordings to manually try to understand what's working, stop guessing and instead just focus on producing and adding the best content you have. And the Eevy algorithm will make sure that the best performing content you have is the content that's going to be displayed on your product pages and landing pages. Our algorithm optimizes your media gallery content, your review sections content, video sections content, and FAQ. So basically all you and your team have to do is focusing on the input, adding the best questions and answers, adding the best videos, adding the best media gallery content, but you don't have to choose the order of it, and you don't have to choose what to feature, because you just upload everything into Eevee, and then the algorithm makes sure to find what works the best and display that. An extremely practically valuable thing as well is that when you have Eevee live, you get direct engagement and performance data on your media gallery content, FAQ questions, video sections, and reviews. So you can see exactly how much each image or video in your media gallery is actually doing for the conversion rate. The same with FAQs, what answers are working, what answers are actually hurting your conversion rate. And the same with the videos. Just like you would in Meta, you would test a lot of videos, and Meta would show that some of them perform really well, while some actually lose you money. The same goes for your website. It's just that you haven't had access to a data-driven algorithm to actually optimize the content on your page. So if you want to step up your website game and put your content to actual use, directly using your conversion data, then go to the Shopify App Store, find Eevy AI, and try it out today. My team and I will be directly available to help you with anything you need to get the most conversion rate increase out of Eevee in the live chat that we have in the Eevee app once you are on a paying plan.